And I feel like that's something that a lot of teams, in this new meta have sometimes fallen into, is they're thinking not enough about their composition and only about lane matchups and comfort, because there's so many different things changing that not all the coaches are really comfortable in this new meta. Drafting properly, considering, oh, could it be a mage bot? Is it going to be a Yasuo bot? Is it going to be a funnel? What's happening? Where is the Aurelia going? Is it bot? Is it top? Is it jungle? Is it, there's all these things to take into consideration. I do think that sometimes your actual composition and win conditions have fallen by the wayside.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think, the split that has most emphasized how good are your analysts, because they're the ones going to run around the rest of the world, look at all the compositions in China and Korea and everywhere else, and say, okay, guys, we found this new thing. This is a cool strategy. You should try. I mean, NA did 0 funnels in week 1 across all the games that were played. In week 2, they finally started coming out, but I wonder, how much of that was being late to preparing or not thinking it was good enough at the time.
And also being able to identify which of those strong strategies fits your team the best, right? Because there are a lot of strategies that I think are incredibly good, but they are not worth running if you are not good at them. I think one of the absolute best champions in the meta against Funnel, for example, is Aurelion Sol, but it's very hard to play. Not a lot of mid laners, even at the pro level, are super proficient on the champion, so you can't just kind of plug and play with all these strategies because they require such different players at times.
Absolutely the case. So now we're going to focus back on champion select. Aatrox grabbed the right away for solo. I want to remind everyone we are still on 8.12 with this week, since this is pre-rework Aatrox, and so the old version of the champion right there for solo in this top lane here. We'll see how he does up against Someday, as there's still a lot of champions left to pick. We saw Darshan's Fior, for example, do very, very well in such a matchup, and that might come through. Either way, waiting around for what might come through next, as looks like Xayah will be paired alongside.
Yeah, Xayah Rakan, going to be quite the strong duo. We saw Doublelift just earlier, doing very, very well on this combo, and I think it can be so incredibly strong, especially very good at punishing, I think, some of these melee bottom lanes. If they misstep at all, you can get comboed up and locked down very, very heavily. And then if you are behind as a melee champion versus Xayah Rakan, it becomes so incredibly difficult to even stay relevant as far as the farm goes.
And looks like Xayah Rakan might be a mid lane duo here. I've seen this kind of composition a lot, where you have the super Xayah in the mid or jungle role based on how you view it, with a Morgana quasi support playing in the bot lane, getting a lot of farm down there, and this is a trio that I've seen very frequently, especially over in Europe. We've seen G2 run that with Super Xayah with Perks playing that champion, so that's where my initial lean is right here, and I wonder if Clutch will try to counteract that, or if they think it's going somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly also possible to just run Morgana solo lane. You can just put Morgana mid, run a standard bottom lane, but the options are there, and as you said, running Morgana as that bottom laner and just having a lot of farm kind of get funneled into that champion can be pretty effective as well. Black Shield does become very, very strong against champions like Lulu, like Sejuani, especially when it's backed up by a lot of farm and AP, because it becomes so difficult to actually break through it.
Absolutely the case. So we'll see what the threats are going to be here in this one, as Clutch Gaming have locked in Lulu as their next pick. They have yet to show any overt bottom laners just yet. You expect this to be the top 3 champion trio. There is that Fiora ban. I'll correct myself, it was Licorice who had looked so damn good on Fiora against Someday last week, but that was not enough of an individual performance to win the game. But we'll see if any more counter picks come through. We saw Licorice's Renekton just earlier today to not do quite so well. There's a Lucian ban against the bottom lane. Apollo's champion starting to get pulled down just a little bit.
And I think if they are worried about Someday, in that 1v going against solo, Renekton as another ban does make a lot of sense. And while Licorice didn't do great in that matchup, we did see last week Impact really getting ahead of Haunter in that matchup. And generally speaking, Renekton should have the early advantage, and even building towards the Essence Reaver on the 2-3 item mark can be very powerful in that 1v1, but more concerned perhaps about Shen even as a potential support, as a top lane. It's a very powerful flex pick, and I think works very well if you are going to be doing the funnel type strategies. That can be really, really nice. Also a nice way in with the Rakan, being able to ult on Rakan as he engages. So a lot of synergies there, and it seems they're more worried about that as far as the overall composition goes and less worried about the 1v1.
So 2 marksman bans right here for 100 Thieves, trying to remove options from Apollo. Of course, we've seen them be funnel champions as well. Lulu bot lane with a funneled. I wouldn't really expect Sejuani, to be fair, to be the second support in that regard, but either way, waiting around to see what wants to be picked up here in the last 10 seconds for Clutch's next pick.
It is certainly less typical, but Sejuani's support, essentially you're having a Sejuani as your mid laner holding can function somewhat similarly to how a Braum does and these sorts of things. So we have seen it a little bit, but Ezreal, very safe and standard bot laner to be picked up with a lot of bans already thrown towards the marksman. Xayah picked away. Is the logical next pick, and we're going to find out if this is Fevman just back in the mid lane on Lulu again. He had a pretty poor performance on it in week 1, got very far behind, you know, and actually solo killed against Golden Glue.
Either way, a fun matchup.
Jax, okay.
Jax, and I'm assuming top lane here for this one, so Sunday going to be pretty big up there, and then Jarvan going to be maybe the final hover, waiting around to see what their last pick's going to be now for Meteos. And will it be a second support, or will they play more standard? Like, will it be that Morgana mid you mentioned from before, and just having a standard Xayah Rakan bot lane? But Cody-san now has Smite on his inventory for now.
Yeah, they could be swapping around. We'll actually find out what it's going to be. There are still some different options, so it's looking more like it will be a secondary support. So it is going to be likely the Morgana Tahm Kench bottom lane, which is incredibly safe. You could also have the Tahm Kench as the mid laner if you want to kind of swap that up, but I am expecting it to be the Xayah getting funneled by that Rakan in the mid lane. You have the Jax top. One of my concerns anytime I look at a composition like this, you're drafting an aggressive 1v1, Jax into the Aatrox, and you have no jungler to support you as the Jax, right?
Yeah.
And that to me is always concerning. That's why I think oftentimes, you know, tanks can work better up in the top lane if you are going to be having a funnel, because now you're going to be putting Someday in this really contentious matchup against an Aatrox, and theoretically...
And only Lyra can go up there reliably.
Yeah, exactly. You could just be getting 2v1'd and put very far behind.
All right, well, as the champions settle back and forth, Cody-san keeping on his Smite. Looks like he will be playing mid/jungle, getting that funnel roll. Ryu will be playing in the bottom lane alongside Aframo. We can quickly look over at Clutch's lineup. It's going to be the Ezreal Zyra bot lane, a pretty standard composition for them here, but that is a lot of pushing power, and I think they can maybe put the Morgana and co under their turret. That's going to be very interesting to watch for, to see if they can maybe get some pressure down on that one. Sort of what happens when you play a funnel strategy is you loosen that jungle pressure, you lose some side lane pressure, and if you can pressure those sides of the map, you can get advantages against them. So once again, different kinds of styles coming through for both of these teams as the coaches shake hands, Prawley and David Lim left and right. And we'll see which comp's going to look better, which team's going to play it better. Lineups one more time on your screen. The Kench unbenched yet again. Meteos playing that one. Hans Aframo. Xayah for Cody-san. We'll see where they play, but it looks like it's going to be a mid-jungle duo for this one.
Yeah, very, very likely, and we will find out as we get into game, but you know, I'm expecting Zyra Ezreal to have the early push, but one of the really strong things about a farming Morgana bottom lane is that once she has enough levels, once she hits 7, 9, has enough levels into her W, you know, for that pool, you can really push the waves so easily, and you can kind of control and at least mitigate damage that is being done down there.
So we'll see how that laning phase goes then as they level up, but we are onto the Rift here for our third game of the day, 100 Thieves. Another team from Rift Rivals that'll be going, well, staying in LA in about a week, but we'll seeing them represent North America as well. We just saw Liquid and Echo Fox do battle. Liquid came ahead with the win there, but 100 Thieves could be up at 3-2 to end this day, and I mean, they'll be sending 3 winning teams into the LCS and into Rift Rivals as Fevifin and Cody-san see each other, and no one's really surprised with where they're going.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too surprising for them, and don't let the actual positions shown on the scoreboard just yet deceive you. It is going to be Meteos playing bottom lane with Ryu, so we can maybe get that swapped around, but Aframo should be the funnel pair with Cody-san, so look at him to kind of help double jungle alongside Cody-san, speed up their early clear, and then he's going to be the guy who is tasked with essentially freezing and holding the minion wave there in the mid lane for Cody-san to get out and get as much farm as possible. And this really is about optimization. It's about getting Cody-san to his items as fast as humanly possible so that he can take over, so that it is okay to be on this lower damage profile team.
And you mentioned optimizations, actually. It's something I've been seeing change around a little bit, is exactly which early jungle item the funnel champion actually gets for themselves. Cody-san right here is on the mana regeneration version. We saw the Kai'Sa that was played just last game actually had went with not Hunter's Talisman, but Machete for more single target damage and was trying to take down Gromp and Blue Buff early on, for example. And curious to see just where everyone goes there as Hako is running into the river and down into the jungle looking for something to do.
This is pretty awkward actually here because Ryu got poked out a fair bit. Now they're able to try to zone. They know Meteos wants to come down, so Meteos is going to have to walk the whole long way around. You can see Ryu is sitting pretty far back here in the bush, knowing he can't really step up to last hit very well. So, you know, Clutch is definitely going to have control of the minion wave. They already forced Ryu to use a potion at level 1 coming to that lane, and that's actually a pretty big deal, as in the early stages we are expecting this to go certainly the way of the Zyra Ezreal.
And for those who haven't been following sort of solo lane Morgana in a very long time, she only spell vamps from her spells off of cannon minions and champions themselves. She can't actually get free healing just off like putting her W under melees and whatnot. It has to be a large minion, large monster, or a champion to get health back, so you can poke out a Morgana much more than you could have, you know, a year or two ago before that change came through in the passive.
Yeah, and you can get the W cooldown pretty low. Like if it is actually ticking on champions and cannons, the cooldown is being reduced on that W, so you can actually spam it out more often. And once Ryu has some levels in there, the push becomes pretty strong. But for now, I mean, both potions gone at level 2. The wave in a favorable spot right now for Hakuo and Apollo, and they're going to have a lot of poke. And this may have to be, you know, a relatively early base for Ryu if he continues to get poked out here.
And watch for that one. Of course, with the teleport on Ryu, it's not going to be the end of the world as long as he's happy with what he gets from the inventory afterwards.
And as long as you don't get dove or something when you come back, right? That is the scary part, because you don't have a true jungler. Yes, Afromu is essentially acting, or whoever you want to call it, Cody Sun or Afro. They are your pseudo jungler, but they don't really gank. It's about farming as much as possible, so they're going to go from the minions in the jungle to the minions in the mid lane, back and forth, and this gives Lyra the opportunity to really pressure and crush the side lanes. And that is the best way, I think, to play against these funnel strategies, is not to try to defend 2v2 in the mid lane, but to try to crush the side lanes where you know there is no chance of being counter-ganked.
And even without the ganks and everything, the bot lane's being crushed a fair bit as well. 8 CS difference so far as the lane resets off the 5th wave, and that's a pretty substantial farm difference here as it's the Planet Thieves duo getting pushed under their turret. But now we're seeing Lyra sneak around to the mid lane, maybe look for the play alongside this Lulu as the Guardian Shield pops. Will they go for Cody Sun? Not just yet.
And I mean, if this works, if you go for this 2v2, it can pay off a lot, but it's very risky, and it's a pretty big time investment. Lyra is going now.
4 and 4 versus 4 and 3. Another health picks down, a bit more damage coming across. Now a knock-up on Lyra means he's going to get out from that one and doesn't get blade collared.
But very little really accomplished there by Lyra. He takes some damage. In that time, he could have potentially done, you know, a camp or two on the bottom side of the map, stolen that away from 100 Thieves, and even looked to pressure bot side. He spends a lot of time in the river there waiting for that gank, doesn't take away the Raptors, doesn't take away the Krugs. He's still waiting here, but they spotted him on the ward, so really he's spending so much time, and he's getting pretty much nothing.
He's gonna flash it down, Zova gets exhausted and rooted up in the place, and Lyra just objectively kills himself to do nothing at all. A huge misplay, but a good capitalize. Now a trade back, he will burn down. At least they get the trade. Buff transfer complete. Heaven's got a blue.
Yeah, Feb been able to get the kill back, but Lyra, so much time investment. It just felt like he got into this one-track mindset where he says, this now must work because I've spent so much time there, and gives up first blood to the funneled Kaisa, who is going to put him even further on that track to getting those super fast item timings. Up here on the top side, Someday is being bullied a bit, but here it is one more time. Cody Sun is fairly low, but you have to remember Guardian is available for Afromu. There is the shielding as well. Flashes forward, the flash blade caller gets the pull through, easy kill. And then Fevin hitting that Glitter Lance is what actually procs that all in, allows him to go forward for that. So it was a nice Glitter Lance to set it up. Follows, gets a kill, gets out, and making it more of an even trade at least.
Yeah, the blue going over, but yeah, first blood gold still a bit better on 100 Thieves side as Meteos and Ryu actually getting enough time to go for the Scuttle Crab right there. That's going to be a really nice surge in XP and gold to make it the difference there in that bottom lane, as it's actually crusted now plus 10 here for Apollo. Stacking his tier. His TPU's back to lane. Ryu the same a little while ago, getting his second Doran's Ring in the process. Now the first teleport to the top side is Someday under turret, actually down a lot of farm as well. The matchup he wanted to be in, but down 16 so far against Villa, who's actually just now completing his own recall.
And they will collect a lot, but one of the important things is how much gold did you have when you went back to base, right? So he was down that amount of farm when he did go back, so it's going to be a better buy here for Solo. He's going to be able to finish his full tabbies, get a Ruby Crystal on top of that, and be able to trade pretty aggressively into Someday. Someday should be able to outscale and eventually kind of have the advantage in this 1v1, but you shouldn't be allowed to play that aggressive without knowing where Lyra is, because the jungle favor should be kind of on Solo's side, and we'll have to see how that's going to play out.
Yeah, gets smacked back and forth right now, equal levels, but yeah, right now the farm difference being about 8 or 9. We'll see where that goes from the future, as again, the clutch giving bot lane continues to push forward and look for the next big play. Plus 16 farm for Cody Sun, of course. That funnel is going to keep doing that and give him more and more money, so that's where their eggs are in the basket, and that's progressing pretty well so far. Level 6 on him ain't too bad either. Level 6 for the Morgana. As quick Rebel going to be handed over, and looks like no chance for steal either. The smite comes through. Cody Sun feels just fine. His first major item going to be a quick Berserker's Greaves, and is rushing towards probably Rageblade first.
Yeah, and tier 2 boots are going to kind of give you that added benefit when you are playing this style, because there's actually a lot of movement around the map. You know, marksmen generally are more kind of planted in bottom lane, sitting, farming that up. But having the additional movement speed to go between all the jungle camps and get back to mid lane in time is actually pretty effective.
Flash. Ult's going to get Xyrus out. The Arcane Shift going to trade 1 for 1 on Flash. A nice bind's going to land. Meteos does a bit more damage. Flash is in for the play. Ignite is on. And they get the kill on the 2-on-2. Beautiful by Ryu and Meteos.
Nicely done there from Ryu and Meteos. And Ryu, it looked like, wanted to back up, but he hits the binding and Meteos flashes in, showing off those Tahm Kench mechanics.
And man, duo lane is easy. These guys don't play that lane normally at all, but they made the outplay happen. Maybe TSM could sign a new bot lane. Moving on, but either way, no, a great 2-on-2 down there, throwing shade.
What today, freak?
They did one today. I take it all back. They know what they're doing. But that was just really, really nice for the two of them.
Yeah, very well done. Ryu going in for the flash. This bottom lane from Clutch can poke you out very heavily, but Zyra is always susceptible to all in. So there is the trade of flashes. Wow. He hits the binding blind, and then Meteos straight in. Tongue Lash, Flash, Ignite, securing that kill. Things looking good for 100 Thieves. And despite the fact that they are down somewhat in gold, this is pretty expected in a funnel strategy because you have more people just kind of pure farming on the side of Clutch. Overall, the team that is not funneling generally is up in gold. Oh,
it's a nice little juke back. Yeah, get some damage back for himself, but it's still going to be pretty easy to heal back up. And now Lyra wants to be around here, but someday going to try to play for a ward. And yeah, spots Lyra. Oh, but at least 75 free gold down the drain.
And you can still threaten the dive. I mean, I think that you should have probably tried to at least zone him off the creeps. I would have liked to see that sort of a play. I mean, you have ultimate available on both. You know that there can't be a Ganner gank. I do think that in that situation, you want to at least threaten it. Have Lyra just even kind of posture towards the Jax and make the Jax back off, because I think at least you can make him miss those minions, and that is still valuable.
Yeah, Morgana TV was actually still down for a few seconds right at that point in time as well, so there was really no one who could have showed up, but now the push lead's going a bit better now for the 100 Thieves side. You mentioned as Morgana gains some levels and her Tormented Soil gets stronger. That is rank 4, indeed maxed it first like a farming Morgana would, and suddenly the lane pressure not nearly as egregious from the Clutch Gaming side. And gold's still very close between these two teams.
Yeah, it is very close, but I am kind of disappointed with how Lyra has actually played this out. He has not really pressured the side lanes at all. Yes, there is kind of some advantages that Solo has built up for himself. He's still up in farm, but I do think that attacking the top lane can be such a strong strategy when you know that there's no counter gank from the jungler, when you know that this is going to be a 1v1 split push style of champion playing up against them. And Lyra spending some of his time shadowing mid lane, some of his time just kind of casually farming. But if you allow Cody-san to get to too strong of a point without really kind of getting your side lanes ahead, and you go into a straight up 5v5, you're going to have this Tahm Kench protecting him, you're going to have a super powerful Morgana with this really strong Black Shield protecting him, and you're going to have Aphromoo as an additional support protecting him on that Rakana. It's going to be very, very difficult to actually take down Cody-san.
Good luck getting to him. 116 farm on him now. Solo again tries to find a trade with Someday and just scaling up and scaling up. Looks like Cody-san going for a different build, actually. For some reason, my brain said Rage Blade, and that's stupid because I kept expecting it to be Kai'Sa.
Probably Stormrazor.
Stormrazor, yeah, seems to be the likely build here for him. And that's going to be a fun one to watch for as he goes forward.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I know you are a big supporter of rushing that jungle item because of how efficient it is, but here they go on to Peppermint.
Ooh, a lot of damage there. Pops the stopwatch to wait out the exhaust, and now Lyra's in the mix as well. TP's coming down from the bot lane as well, as he's going to cancel that one and walk right back out, but the chance is going to make sure that 100 Thieves walk away, and a trade of not too much. No flash lost, and the knockup almost finds Purchase, but no. A nice Featherstorm gets him away, and ooh, the chance to get behind them from Meteos, who can't be much of a Tahm Kench expert, but so far playing the champion quite well.
Back in the day, some people were playing Tahm Kench jungle a little bit,
I
solo queue here and there. So, and if you play a lot of solo queue, you do get filled into other roles from time to time. So I may have a bit of experience on it. Either way, doing pretty well so far. And you have to say, well played from Pepin. It was a very well-timed stopwatch, and that's the trade of the ult, the flash, and the exhaust all coming out there from Aphromoo for just that stopwatch.
I do want to give some props, though, to the 100 Thieves bot lane duo, suddenly the Ryu Meteos duo, because in a league where we've seen some players be benched because they can't play the right champions anymore and everything else like this, like, these are players who have never played bot lane professionally, but are playing bot lane against one of the most experienced bot lanes in NA right now. I mean, honestly, Apollo and Hako are an incredibly good duo playing champions. They've played for literally years and doing incredibly well in the 2-on-2, out of comfort on champions in some cases, out of comfort in lane, and I want to give them props for that.
And that's something, you know, we've heard Aframu actually talking about, is he thinks that this is a great meta for veteran players, people who have been around for a long time, who know a bunch of different champions because of those shifts in the meta, who are more comfortable and have a greater understanding than some of the newer players. And, well, Meteos and Ryu have been around for a very, very long time. These guys are no slouches and really do have a tremendous amount of competitive experience, and I think this is just helping to showcase that.
Absolutely, for sure. Of course, Hakuo made his appearance in, I want to say, late 2015 on Renegades, then into Envy afterwards. Of course, Apollo's been playing since 2013 and before, but still, yeah, just massive props to Ryu Meteos. I really think they're playing very well for being pushed outside of comfort here in this game. As we continue to watch as this game goes back and forth and the gold stays equal, this top lane is going to stay at about ±10 to 15, which is actually someday bridging the gap somewhat against Solo.
Yeah, and as long as you're farming as the Jax, you know, you're generally going to be pretty happy. If you're not dying, you are just scaling up. Jax inevitably starts beating basically everyone in the game and in the 1v1. He's so ridiculously good with that, and if you can get 2 Triforce on a good timing, like Someday didn't even go for an early Tiamat to help with the laning or anything like that. Didn't stop for, you know, Ninja Tabbies, nothing like that. So he is going to get to Triforce, and Solo is going to be on kind of bits and pieces, much more likely because he stopped for Tabbies. You know, and that is going to kind of put him back a little bit.
Yeah.
You can expect somebody to have an advantage in the 1v1 on that.
Yeah, so right now just shoving the turret, shoving the wave in constantly, giving some pressure over for Lyra, who is going for this Rift Herald. That is at least one advantage. That doesn't show up in your score lines as a player, but having lane pressure means the jungle can go over to you a little bit more easily. That Herald will be grabbed without too many issues. After he wants to go look for it, but even if he could show up in time, there's no smite yet in range, but now Sunday's coming to collapse. This could be quite a bit of a fight. Looking for the knockup. They've got Hakuho and Febbin nearby here as well, and here comes Tahm Kench. They're bringing more of the reinforcements. The smite's going to come through. I don't know quite who picked it up, but now the fight continues. The Resurrect now onto Solo as the rest of us flash away. Lear getting away from that one, but it's a 4v3. Flash to buy some time, gets shot up a little bit. Now Hakuho is here to join the fray. A flash forward, a flash to run away. Can they not quite find the kill? They won't, but Lyra, we see, did manage to grab the smite himself, gets the buff for himself, and walks away with no deaths.
Yeah, no deaths on either side. I think Thieves kind of mismanaged it a little bit. They did actually push Lyra out of the pit, and I think they could have just finished the Rift Herald. It was at 900 health there. If you just focus that down, you're the ones who probably get it. Instead, they turn for the fight immediately before finishing it. Lyra gets back around. He gets the smite on it, takes it down. That means they get the turret and come out positive on the play, and that's first turret as well.
First turret and a big smack on the second one as well. So, of course, 1,000 gold up for first turret is quite nice there. Is some damage on tier 2 is going to help, but the gold difference, though, only 400 to 500 as 100 Thieves are actually getting a bit closer in the game, that single fight notwithstanding. Taco going to hold this wave and try to get the farm over to some of his teammates. We watch that fight yet again.
So here it is one more time. 100 Thieves making a nice collapse. Lyra pushed out. This is where I think you can just finish it. I mean, that is a 900 HP Rift Herald, instead turning for the fight. So Lyra just walks in. It's kind of getting hit by AoE, and he's like, oh, thanks. I guess I'll kill that. It looked like Solo actually is the one who finished it off with an auto, perhaps the Tiamat actually knocking that down, or maybe just an ultimate long-range auto there. But either way, Clutch lucky to get away with that one.
Pretty nice turn of events as the Mountain Drake goes down as well. And now Solo passive-less just get chased down by Meteos and Someday. Now that is a jungle gank we've seen before. This one works out pretty nicely.
Yeah, really nice job there from Meteos getting up to the top lane, and they're going to be able to knock down a turret here. You know, really kind of help to get Someday ahead in that 1v1. He does get the kill, and maybe not actually going to be able to knock it down. We'll see how long they want to stay around, if they want to wait for the next mini wave to try to fully commit to it. If they do, they will at least get the TP, but Clutch is working elsewhere on the map, and that's 2 turrets now to 0.
Clutch doing a pretty solid job in their early to mid game. They've gotten pretty much all the neutral objectives, and they are 2-1 up on turrets. This TP will finish in time, but the turret is quite low, and Meteos can rejoin the play. And oh, Apollo could be a bit injured, but he's actually baiting in for Lyra. The damage output is there. They get the first kill. Watch the TP, though, as Ryu could be joining in, and now this could be a re-engage. The rest of 100 Thieves want in. They found Lyra, and a 2v4 is not a good sign for Clutch Gaming. A quick wild growth of the exhaust is on the jump backwards, and actually Lyra stays alive with all the resources spent in. Apollo chasing in for a bit of damage. Nice slow on Afro, but he's going to be safe, and out goes 100 Thieves.
Yeah, they do get the turret. It is, you know, kind of an expensive one, as a lot of people do come up top, and they lose Meteos, but a couple of TPs spent there by Clutch, and Lyra barely able to get away with his life thanks to that support from Febbin. Either way, it's going to be Someday heading back down to the bottom side. He's going to be able to farm that up. You had Solo pushing in the mid lane, so both of these side laners really are just continuing to scale up, and Triforce, as you can see, completed now for Someday. I really do think that at this point, you can start to see the matchup favor the Jax a lot more. And there's kind of these interesting interactions where you don't want to straight up just base tank and fight this Aatrox once his passive is actually ready for the revive and he has that bonus attack speed. So you want to kind of get the fight started. Then you want to be jumping away, using your leap strike to actually kind of kite him out, and then re-engage on him once he has no stacks on that passive. And then oftentimes you can kind of kill him off before he can really fully stack that up.
All right, well, Someday vs Solo going to be a matchup we'll be seeing more of, I'm sure, in the future. In fact, in the bottom lane, that's where they are going. As just wave clears pretty reliably down here. Aatrox pushes in the wave. Someday hoping to find him on a face check, but nope, he's just going to go back up the river. Looks like Solo has no interest in being in those battles anyway.
Yeah, and if he had no stacks on his passive there, maybe Someday jumps in, but he's one stack away from actually having that revive ready, and that is a much more dangerous fight to take. You can see Lyra down around the bottom side of the map, but there is a nice deep ward over by Clutch's blue buff that is going to keep Someday a little bit more safe. And that is one way that you can certainly expect the help to be there. Because he doesn't really have a jungle of his own, one of these things that not a lot of people talk about with the funnel strategies is that you often end up with double Sightstone, and that is the situation we are in now. So you should have the additional vision, and even if you can't go there and counter gank, you should be able to go there and get deep wards and protect his split push so he knows if someone's coming.
Yeah, and that's going to be support that I think we'll be looking for on sort of both these teams. If we're watching the ability to play double Sightstone is here for 100 Thieves, of course. Aphromoo and Meteos available with that one, so more vision on the 100 Thieves side. Could help with that Someday split push. Control wards dueling in this brush. Apollo staying safe, and Hako scouting out with some plants means out goes 100 Thieves. Pretty good chunk in a Ryu there. Yeah. No Zhonya's yet, but does still have a stopwatch, so Morgana can still do pretty standard Flash Morgana things with the ultimate and then the invulnerability at the needed time.
It's very squishy though. I mean, no HP built up, right? And that's kind of the result of that. You see that one Mystic shot come in from Ezreal, and so much of Ryu's health disappears because there's no armor built up, there's no HP built up just yet. So he does have to be very careful. You can look for those aggressive flash-ins and try to get the ultimate, but if you get polymorph before you're actually able to get your Black Shield up or your ultimate or your Zhonya's off, you can very easily be killed off.
And speaking to more of the item builds in this one, I actually really do like that Cody-san went Hurricane here on Xayah. He's going to be the primary teamfight damage source and multiplying yourself the most you can, saying, no, my job is to stay up in the fights. I've got free support to keep me alive. Let's go maximum DPS. I think Hurricane is that. Going for a crit build is that, and so I expect Infinity Edge to be next up for him. And that'll be him doing his best to carry. Cody-san has been largely one of the brightest points behind the Thieves. That's how a lot of their spring split went, was put him in places where he can carry the team fights late game. That was true in their playoff run as well. And yet again, they're playing around him here as a squad. And he has, generally speaking, not let them down. I got to say, he's been a very good performer, especially for an NA80 carry. Yeah,
generally, he is not a dominant early game guy, but he's one of the AD carries that if you get him on a marksman in the late game, he can take over in team fights. He can really be that consistent performer, and certainly going to be looking for that once again. The Hurricane definitely is an interesting choice because you see a lot of people also go for Rapid Fire in combination with the Storm Razor. That is a combination I've been really, really liking because you get the guaranteed crit, and it's the long range auto with that Rapid Fire proc on top of it. So that can be quite a significant amount of damage, especially against fairly squishy champions like Lulu and Zyra, where that one crit auto can really mean a lot before a team fight happens.
Yeah, it can be a good solid 30 or more % of their health just off of one single shot. But yeah, this is definitely him indexing towards the team fight build. And so I agree your build is quite good as well. It's just the style he wants to go for. And I think it makes sense based on this competition. I think in a funnel game, I think you would want to go for a team fight build. Either way, watching as they once again go back and forth across these waves. Clutch Gaming, we've already knocked down all 3 outer turrets. The next breaks up in 30 seconds. Kind of these have only knocked down top lane so far. The waves have been manicured pretty well by Clutch's side. Solo on that Aatrox already shoved out the bot side. Someday have to walk over to defend that. No one on the top side of the map as this Drake is coming up very soon. Looks like the blue is handed over easily to Febivin. We are on 2 item spikes for the Ezreal of Apollo. That's a pretty good spot to be. He's starting his next tier just now. It's going to be a long road up, though. And for now, I feel like I would take Cody-san in a lot of fights as he adds more to his build, but does take a piss off for Quicksilver Sash. I'm a little surprised considering he does have a Tom Kench on his side, but
and a Black Shield, you know? So it is one of those things where, yes, this perhaps gives you the confidence to play a bit more aggressively, but with 3 supports, essentially, you should have that confidence to play aggressively regardless. And, you know, it does hurt your DPS a little bit. You know, that could be another BF sword, getting more quickly to that IE. See how if it actually affects them at all in these team fights.
Fighting a river control, quick stun on Afro, good damage on the front side, goes for the sun, almost gets through, but cannot quite do it. Now Solo on the backside, 1v3, gets the passive ready, gets the revive ready, and buys a hell of a lot of time as now the re-engage comes through, and it's 100 Thieves routed, Media's getting low, has to flash away. Apollo almost got found out by Ryu. That could have been bad for him, but that is now River Control 2 Clutch Gaming going for now for this Infernal Drake.
Yeah, and they would really like to take this. The TP is ready for Ryu, so he could rejoin. Someday is actually chasing Solo, though.
Oh, that is a nice kill right there. That's a quick pickup, but there will be the Drake tag, so +1 kill. I'd take the Drake for that one, but now it is, of course, map control for 100 Thieves shoving in the mid lane with not a lot to defend it. This turret will be done quickly.
And Morgana TP'd bot, so they're going to look for actually, multiple turrets potentially, at least trying to get some pressure down. Not even going to be able to get the mid for now, though. It was a fantastic initial fight from Solo, chunking out multiple members, forcing out, the Hourglass as well as some summoners there from Meteos. But then, as the passive falls, as the ultimate falls, Someday can find him on the side, and that means they get a kill back and do kind of at least have some map pressure off of it.
Yeah, that's quite nice. He's getting pretty close on this one. Now Ryu being found out here. Black Shield's only so powerful. Of course, has ability power to back it up. He's going to be okay as he now builds towards Zonia's Hourglass. A red buff steal, though, for a clutch. That is nice in the backside. Apollo had done so much poke on the way out from that fight. They actually got map control back for a few seconds, and that was their reward here. This gold difference, though, 600. Favor of 100 Thieves to fight those Drakes.
Yeah, here it is one more time. The ultimate from Lyra looks a little bit random, if I'm honest. It didn't seem like the team was in position, but then that route, multiple members rooted up from Paco. He's the one who actually started that off, and Solo follows it up. Flash, knock up onto multiple members. The Zyra ultimate comes out, and they are pushed back very, very heavily. This gives Clutch full access to the Infernal, but Someday spots Solo on the side, knows no flash is there, knows no chance of him getting the passive ready, and is able to pick up a kill.
Very nice stuff there to get one kill, and again, get this golden decent spot right here, 400 apart. Fighting an Infernal, fighting a Mountain.
And Jax is going to become a bigger and bigger problem. You can see, Solo was winning the early laning phases, but Someday has spent more time in the side lanes. He's scaling up. He's getting close to his Hysterics. He's actually up 40 plus CS at this point in the game and is going to outscale in the 1v1. And does actually decide not to Hysterics, so he's sitting on the pickaxe, gets the Titanic. Could be Hysterics after that or something else. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, Solo probably cannot win the 1v1 anymore. And that can be troubling as Jax gets stronger and stronger and stronger and really can look to bully in the side lanes, because 100 Thieves have such a safe four-man squad. If these guys are sitting together, it's almost impossible to engage onto this team with Xayah ultimate and the amount of safety that Black Shield and Tahm Kench gives you.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough getting through that now as Cody Sun keeps building up in his inventory. The BF sword is there, as you mentioned, and Infinity Edge only about 2,000 gold away at this point. Someday now pushing in. Look at this. Solo is now the one under turret. Good damage into Meteos, but he's very tanky. Gets a pair of shields from his own self and the Morgana nearby. And look at this under the turret. Solo has to leave his own side of the base. Someday has vastly outscaled now, and this is a huge pressure point for 100 Thieves. This turret goes down.
Yeah, Solo with no passive stacks there. That means Someday's going to jump on him. If you don't have those passive stacks, sure, you hit him with the E, the Q, that's 2. The ultimate can give you 1. You need a third hit of the W, but you need enough autos to actually be able to do all this stuff and get to 5 stacks. So when Jax gets this strong and has this much burst, especially with the Titanic, using that for an extra reset auto, you can essentially Q in, auto, W for the auto reset and the magic damage there, and then Titanic resets you again. It's so much burst, and you're in Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Your W is not even hitting. It's like, it becomes so tough to even live long enough to proc the passive unless you're the one engaging, unless you're the one who has access to them anyway.
Watch out then, Solo, because Someday's coming through on this one. Right now is grouped up with the team, though, as Solo shoves out the waves. And so a 4v5 briefly in the mid side. Clutch gonna play a bit back and try to clear the waves as they can. As, again, mid being shoved towards, but with Ezreal and everyone there, it's gonna be easy enough to clean out. Turret stays alive, but 3-3 in turrets, because that bot lane push from Jax to just equalize that. And there's a catch on the front side. Look at the damage output there. They're going, and Apollo is gone already. 5v4. Ozonius for Ryu. That's going to be a quick chance at a stun. And they're going to go for a Solo next up. He's going to be knocked down. And there's the trade of 1. But Someday, yes, in the back line, looking for the kills. Can't quite get Febiven. Still +1 for 100 Thieves. 4v3 on the map. Ready to push mid or go for Baron.
I think they're going to head right over to Baron. Lyra is very low. Febiven has no flash, is very low as well. And they have lots of damage here to be able to knock this down. Rakan can keep you pretty healthy with the AoE heal that actually procs off the Baron. And let's see if they want to turn. I think they should turn for the fight here.
Those bars are low, but it might be defensible here for Clutch Gaming. Looking for the plays. Lyra does have Smite available, but he's under-leveled against Cody Sun. some vision right now, pushed away, but it's just enough threat and just enough poke that Baron sent them away, and that advantage is somewhat squandered.
Yeah, well played there by Clutch, not getting too close and allowing the re-engage. You know, you saw Someday over the wall looking for the counter-strike, but Clutch backs up. They don't get in range of that. 100 Thieves can't find the fight, and it does dissipate. But here it is one more time. Look at that turnaround. Everyone is in full retreat from 100 Thieves. That is basically impossible to react to. There's no real indication that it's coming for Apollo, and Afromu just turns it around, blows him up. And that is just a really, really good engage from the Spring Split MVP.
Absolutely beautiful stuff right there. That was great. And Apollo had to play fairly aggressively as one of the big leverage points of the squad. And that time gets punished for it. He had gotten good things to the team otherwise. And now we're back on this rift. 2,500 gold that puts 100 Thieves ahead. They have been really getting a lot more done in this mid game.
It's Clutch, though, that needs the pressure now. You have a no TP Jax in the bottom lane. You need to go to Barrett or do something here as Clutch, because you should not be allowing the Jax to get away with this. He's free farming in the bottom lane without TP. They know he used it in that last mid lane fight. They're actually just going to send Aatrox back to match, but I'm kind of disappointed in that answer, as it's going to be pretty slow, and it's allowing 100 Thieves to take mid lane, to get the bonus farm in the bottom lane, and doing all this without TP.
Yeah, we had seen that fight before. This time around, Someday not looking for the dive because he knows there might be some threats. You see one board just put down by Afromu, hoping to keep him safe. Want to make sure that side lane split push can work. We just saw that mid turret get backdoored a second ago. Cody's Sun, of course, very deadly. There is the Infinity Edge in inventory, so only one slot left to replace with the Hunter's Talisman. It's probably going to be like a Rapid Fire Cannon or something else for further crit damage. A nice bind right there as they give him some attack speed and a shield.
Yeah, really good poke to be able to try to get access to this Infernal. Someday is here. 100 Thieves finish.
Inferno goes to 100 Thieves, and now is there much of a fight to be had? Even though they're scattered about, there's no go from Clutch. They're going to back out and continue to bleed parts of this map as Someday walks back to that side and looks for more turrets, more minions to kill, and Solo will try to defend as best he can.
Clutch is just starting to look more and more paralyzed. The fact that they've had this couple-minute window with TP advantage, they're not actually getting anything done with it, is just allowing Cody's Sun to scale up, is allowing Jax to get more and more and more in these side lanes. Someday now 2 levels up. He's up a significant amount of farm, closing in on his Rage Blade, and Jax is going to be unstoppable in the side lane. You needed to see Clutch be pressuring during these advantages.
Looks like they are not doing that. Clutch has given away some late games before. Remember about the, I think it was the CLG loss from a while ago. They had a very big gold lead, and it was a Baron steal that started it, but even still, just gave up map control in this one, and this is, I feel like it's another game where 100 Thieves has been given the opportunity to play a better mid game.
And you have to wonder, did they not catch that Someday TP'd in? Did they think that he was, over on that side of the map? Did they lose track of that timer? Because, not trying to make any plays around the Baron at this stage in the game when you have that potential 5v4 is not something you see very often in the LCS.
Absolutely the case, but whether it's a mistake or whether it was something they just decided this was the way they wanted to play around it, it is 100 Thieves who has navigated a pretty sticky start and have looked pretty good here on this.
Yeah.
And now playing towards the river, playing towards this top side of the map, looking at their next way to win the game and because build a bigger lead. Maybe it will be Baron for them. Grab the Infernal Drake without much problems, and again, they just clear mid pretty easily.
400 Thieves, I don't think you need to do anything other than what you're doing. You have a crit scaling marksman with all this protection for him. Cody's Sun is going to be ridiculously strong. He already has the Zeeks, he has the Knight's Vow, he's going to have the super powerful Black Shield. Jax is outscaling Aatrox in the side lane. It's Clutch that I feel really does need to be the ones that are on the initiative to find this really good fight, and that becomes tough because really their only initiation here is going to be Lyra with the Sejuani ultimate, and if there's vision on him, you can expect Ryu to be able to react with that Black Shield. And if that Sejuani ultimate gets Black Shielded, or even if it doesn't and Meteos eats them away, well, there goes your only initiation.
Yep, it's very difficult, and maybe that's part of why Clutch Gaming are paralyzed, is maybe they got checkmated a little bit in champ select, and you get out of lane, and suddenly there's just too many good tools here for 100 Thieves. Cody's Sun, another 140 gold for him. He is rich, about 3,000 gold above his closest opponent, Apollo, down there. Yeah. You see almost at 13K, but it's 15.5 right here on the other side. Cody's Sun is huge, and he's pretty close to buying his next big upgrade, too.
And it's not truly a fair fight because there's all this additional support for Cody's Sun. He's so much protection, and yes, there is Fevivin here on the Lulu to actually buff up Apollo as well, but I don't think it's comparable to really the Morgana plus the Rakan plus the Tahm Kench that gives Cody's Sun almost the ability to play with impunity, to not really be concerned at all about what his opponents can throw at him.
Well, Baron down a half HP. They're healthy enough. They can tank it for a long time. Afro and Cody Sun playing that together. Now Ryu gets over the wall, so Lyra has to look for the smite. Ult out from Ezreal. This is going to be the big play. This needs to happen for Clutch Gaming. Across the wall, picked up by Hakuo, who even needs smite. Everyone else on Clutch can grab the objectives. They grab it and get away.
Cody Sun didn't even use his smite. And Afromove goes over the wall, locks up Lyra. You're thinking, wow, what a great secure there. 400 Thieves. But smite not even used by Cody Sun. And that is one of the risks of running these sorts of strategies. You're putting that objective secure in the hands of someone who does not play with it. We know how big Baron steals are. Here it is one more time. 100 Thieves want to just go for this. This is not a true 50-50 because they're sending Afromu over the wall to lock up Lyra. So waiting till it's low, Afromu goes over, now you burst it. No smite comes out at all. It is the ultimate from Zyra over the wall that secures it there from Hakuo, and that turns the game on its head. Now you don't need the engage because you have the push.
Suddenly they've been unparalyzed, but maybe too soon. Solo actually gets to trade with Ryu. A nice true shot barrage for Paulo makes it a 4v4, but if there's any time for Clutch to start waking up, it is right now, and their fans better urge them on to get something to happen here as mid lane tier 2 is under fire. That one will fall quickly.
And it's really tough because now Jax can't go to the side lane because the other team is just going to shove up with Baron minions and take your base.
4v4, Apollo gets away from the first one, takes some damage. Still though in the back line, they picked up one. Cody Sun with a smite on Lyra, almost gets it. Trying to get the shot, can't quite that one, but that's the flash in. They got that kill. Now Meteos and Someday against the world. 2 versus 4. Clutch Gaming have the wave. They will get the inhibitor. What else will they grab?
They could go for potentially Nexus turrets here. Ryu's not up for 10 more seconds. The Jax isn't going to be able to do much at all here. They are potentially looking for the game end.
Going for the Nexus, 5 seconds on Morgana, and at worst it's a 4 versus 3. They're only going for 1 turret though. Clutch Gaming backing up if their wave isn't here, and they're going to walk back Fevivin. 4v3 again, 15 seconds on Afromu. Looking for the second turret. They are pretty frail. The shots come in. Where's the attack going to come from? Now Lyra's very low. A disengaging Zyra ult might mean Someday wants in though as the turret falls, but now with Ryu looking in for this one, they almost get the kill. That's almost Lyra going down. That's going to be Ryu traded back easily. That's one picked up. The respawn's coming in pretty soon. Cody Sun in 15 seconds. Here comes the stun. Oh, Someday is freaking huge. 3 kills picked up, make it a 4th easily. Someday is the savior of 100 Thieves.
Someday keeps 100 Thieves alive in the game. The flash counter-strike there, catching 4 members from Clutch as they group up. And that is all that lay between them and the defeat screen there.
That was absolutely massive. Solo the only one now left alive as to wait as the team licks their wounds. Baron buff, guess he's got that one, I think, or no, he was one who died, so no buff left, yeah.
Yeah, here it is one more time. So, Cody Sun is still down. Ryu comes back up. He knows he needs to wave clear this. They need to survive, but Clutch does a good job actually zoning for Apollo, getting a lot of autos in. The Zyra ultimate is used though. That is buying a little bit more time, and Ryu looking to go and taking so much damage. It does get finished off, but it's Someday losing track of him on the side. All of Clutch stacks up. Look at that. It's a 4-man stack. 4-man counter-strike. Using the Titanic Hydra for the auto resets, cleaving down everyone there. And that is just a thing of beauty from Someday.
I would 100% guarantee. Ooh, the revive coming out. Someday just barely sticks on the Zyra plant. No, not enough damage. I believe it counts as a spell, not auto attack. I don't believe the dodge would have done anything about that, but just does survive it regardless.
And keeps his GA from that. That is a big deal. Gets the Bloodwell passive out of Solo. Keeps his GA alive. This Jax is fully online, level 18. Buying a Hexdrinker as well. Essentially full build at this point. The guy is going to be a monster, but 100 Thieves are a stiff way away from a stiff breeze away, excuse me, from losing this game. I mean, this is an open Nexus. One more fight spells the end, and that really limits your options as a split pusher in this game. If you're out on the map and your 4-man squad dies, that's it.
And it doesn't even always require a death. If you go Baron, the other team can say, no, we win the game instead, and it just actually ends. It's very hamstrung now 100 Thieves is. They might, and actually thankfully for them, Baron should respawn around the same time as the inhibitor, but I think they have to wait for that inhibitor to come up to do much of anything. And they're going to play around their minion lines, make sure their wards are in a pretty good spot, and they are. There's really no easy entrances in. They've got vision everywhere. No backdoors just yet for Clutch Gaming side.
And the game gets so much more complicated, and, as you get into these late stages, because Baron is going to be coming up, Elder is going to be coming up, you have an open Nexus, you want to split push, you need to maintain vision, make sure there's nothing in your base that they can TP to. There's all these different complications that are now being added to the game, and despite the fact that someday we'll smash Solo in a 1v1 right now, he may never get a chance to actually have that 1v1.
Randwood's Omen up picked up for Solo. He's kind of aware of what his station is tank up a Xayah in team fights and try to survive someday. Of course, still plenty of magic damage on that champion.
And if Solo can actually get onto a squishy character, he still can threaten kills on someone like a Ryu or a Cody-san if he can get on top of them. But his time is over in the 1v1, certainly.
He's passiveless for about 15 more seconds. That passive almost back up, so Solo's Revive, a pretty crucial team fighting tool. And he'll have that by the time anything really comes out someday, just on the push. And team feels just safe enough. Again, they've got to be threatened by what a push could be. He pushes in the wave, leaves the team. Solo's going to grab that one.
Yeah, and I mean, if somebody had full vision, if he could kind of turn on his cheats right here, see exactly where everyone was on Clutch, he probably would have kept pushing, right? Knowing the recall time, he's knowing everything, but they don't have perfect vision. And the fact that anyone from Clutch could have been coming back with the Aatrox means you have to kind of see that. You have to give it up, back off, and somebody's going to have to look to either wait until he has full vision on the team and try to go for that 1v1, or just accept that you can't actually split push in that and try to group up in team fight, where Jax really is not nearly as strong, especially against people like the Lulu and the Zyra, who can disengage you quite effectively.
Unless you get that miracle 4-man flash stun, which, but the radius is so small, they have to opt into that. And of course, Clutch did to a certain degree as the poke goes back and forth, and this time around it's Clutch able to push first, letting them play a little bit farther forward. You can see one of those little vision wards right there, the green ward coming out and seeing part of that wave. If they ever do back up, they can track some of the movements. Solo and Apollo trading farm back and forth. Apollo almost out of items. Cody-san is already capped, so gold income on the Zyra, or sorry, the Xayah, having similar names screws with me quite a bit. She's going to stop scaling pretty quickly now. There's no more items, no more levels to gain. Cody-san is done. He's capped out. Those Raptors do nothing for him, generally speaking, so it's about everyone else now gaining income. Yeah,
unless he wants to trade out those boots for another damage item, maybe an Essence Reaver or something along those lines, but we'll have to find out. It is 5v5 in the mid lane for now.
Well, look for the play. They get the knockup, but he's got no charge, so that's one kill already. Solo is down. Hako buys a few seconds, but it's a 4v5, and here comes the chase for 100 Thieves. Someday GA ready could find this. A nice bind's going to go for Lyra. No chase in for the kills, though. This is still some time to work with, though. 100 Thieves have a Baron in their eyes.
Yeah, and they can actually send Someday to a side lane if they want. He has his TP. They are moving him over around that Baron pit, and they could go back for it, having the advantage, but Cody-san, falling short last time around the Baron, not able to smite secure it. They're two-manning it right now. There is no vision on it, and I think Clutch has an idea. They do spot it now.
They'll pull over Cody-san when they need to. As a stun comes through onto a black shield. Lyra wasn't even close onto this one as Safro gets to walk away pretty cleanly enough. 5,000 health left on this one. Lyra does have smite, but there's no blast gun. They gotta get the vision over the wall as that one drops down as well. Medius wants in. If you can eat Lyra, he can make this one really easy. Chomps it up, picked up by Cody, a second kill as well. And it's now Clutch Gaming routed, forced run away as they're losing every player on their team. One in for Apollo, though, buys a little bit. He gets a double, take it back. So only 3 standing on the one side and 3 standing on the other means this push is not gonna be too easy. Out they go.
Yeah, well fought by Apollo to actually get those couple kills and prevent any potential base cracking push or game-ending play, but still, 100 Thieves do secure the Baron this time. Cody-san does ring true with the smite. Here it is once more. Solo already down. Black Shield, so powerful at this point in the game. It's absorbing 500-600 damage of magic damage with that death cap there, and over the wall, Medios is going to go. He wants to stop Lyra, flashes in, gets the 3 stacks, hits the Devour. No random steal coming out. Cody-san does hit the smite, but both of the bot laners for 100 Thieves go down. The beautiful True Shot Barrage timed very well with the Zhonya's. Apollo has been on point with this, and this is another game where Apollo is looking so good, and really has been a whole summer split of him being this massive damage threat for the team and picking up kill after kill after kill. The guy is the kill leader. He is crushing it this split.
Absolutely. He's been a phenomenal player, and I'm glad he's finally getting some of the accolades he deserved. A-tier player in my book. Maybe everyone will agree with me now. Either way, Clutch Gaming now on the back foot with this one. Of course, a Baron buff on 3/5 of their opponents going to make this one hard to play around. A 5,000 gold difference. Some of it, again, a bit misleading, but looking for the play. Apollo walks forward. Has to respect Cody-san, though. Knows it's a flashless recon and plays around that range well enough.
And you can see the 100 Thieves just don't feel comfortable sending Someday to a side lane, right? He's still up basically an item and a half over his opponent's solo and would be monstrous in that side lane, but they haven't been able to actually buy the time to really get much done there. He could go and try to solo this Elder. Did sneak around the side. Is going to be spotted, though.
And that ward's going to make his life difficult, so out he goes. Not going to try it just yet. I wonder how good this siege can look as they keep stacking in the items. Paco becomes more of a damage threat, which is kind of nice. It's up to Riley's Leandries, but of course the support tanks of Afro Medios is slowly skilling up as well.
And it does seem like 100 Thieves just want to wait for the side lanes to push. They actually have the waves stacking up in top and bot, so they're happy to play for mid lane priority with 5. They know that eventually Clutch has to answer the side lanes, and then that is going to give them access to the Elder and to some of these other objectives.
And now a big team fight damage tool is down as Apollo burns True Shot Barrage for vision and gets to see Elder Dragon, but
so
now
fast.
Thunk, thunk, thunk. We've heard this sound before. Ah, it's beautiful.
If you're 100 Thieves, man. Otherwise,
every League fan knows the sound of Jax thunking on an object for 20 seconds, and it's one of the most satisfying things in League of Legends. Even Clutch, you're like, ah, yeah, you're right. That was worth it.
It's up there with the NASA stacking sound.
That's true. It's up there with the Nexus blowing up.
That's not my favorite sound.
Really?
No.
It's when it's their Nexus?
Eh.
You would rather get a Q stack on NASA than kill the Nexus?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
You get the +6, it's always worth it.
You get +6 for the Nexus, dude.
Yeah,
Actually,
but then you have to stop stacking.
Oh,
that's the problem.
True. Did you know, this is a Reddit fact, shout out Reddit, Poppy's shield does not return to her if you left the Nexus.
There you go.
Broken.
I saw that thread too.
Literally unplayable. Meanwhile, the base is just dropping in front of our very eyes. Jax, of course, the demolition crew here by himself. Lyra walks forward, tries to find somebody to kill, and nothing there. For the bind! No one's quite in follow-up range. Burns Q has to get out, and that's actually a big root in the knockup. There's no damage. Follow-up, and out goes Afromu.
Yeah, they will back up, but with the Elder on top of the Baron buff, it becomes so difficult to even contest the push. Even if you're there in place, fighting these guys with the additional damage is going to be so difficult. And you know, Black Shield always amazes me how strong it does get later in the game. I mean, it is up at almost 700 damage absorbed.
Lyra and Hako want into this one. Blue Smite, couple of slows come through. 2 more autos get the stun. He's just too far out of range, but that is one trinket ward down. Can only leap like that one more time.
Yeah, and his team is too close, where you can't actually go for a really long distance chase down like that, but still, you know, some of these advantages are shrinking, right? We've seen Apollo has finished up his build. You're allowing Solo to get closer and closer and closer. Solo still doesn't have his last item completed, but you know, someday all this gold that he has ahead doesn't really matter anymore. He has 7,000 gold almost ahead of Solo, but you're maxed out. Who cares?
Yeah. 2.5K is in inventory, so he's up 5,000 gold. If you're going to just kind of do that math real quick, you kind of similar here. The Xayah sitting on 2,300 as well. That's another 1,000 more than Apollo has in pocket. So take, you know, 3-4K off the gold lead. That's like the true gold lead, but otherwise, again, still an advantage now, and maybe a fight in the mid lane as it's going to be quick disengage thanks to Zyra roots. Oh, ulti pop. No one in range. Apollo jumping away in time. Stay safe on this one.
Yeah, we'll have to back off. You know, more important support items, though, coming through. That is kind of the continued scaling here for Cody Sun. You can see the Ardent Sensor is there. We already mentioned the Zeeks as well as the Knight's Vow. Locket probably being purchased up here from Medios. Also, Afromu with the QSS of his own to be able to play more aggressively. And again, you know, the teams don't have the confidence to really stick in the side lane. You're constantly seeing Someday coming to the team, grouping and grouping. You know, he has a 7-kill Jax, and you know, still not comfortable to really be out there in the side lane, knowing that he could get collapsed on, or his team could potentially be engaged.
Solo runs forward on a beta fight out, gets up to 3 of 5 stacks for the revive, but I guess with the ult would have been safe enough, and doesn't quite find any plays just yet. But now it's Clutch Gaming now on the doorstep. Open inhibitor in the mid lane, and open Nexus waiting inside the base. So a bit of a better situation for them as far as structures go. Someday gets slowed down and uses his last trinket to get away. He's no longer got any free hops left.
Yeah, and Someday, you know, is full build. We've seen Cody Sun actually doing some item swapping now. He has swapped out the Storm Razor for a Bloodthirster. He swapped out for Merc Treads as well, or wanting some of that CC reduction because there is quite a lot over there on the side of Clutch. And that's really kind of the last item optimizations he can really make, unless he wants to get rid of the boots. But the gold leads across the board are smaller and smaller. You can compare Fepivin here to Ryu. Those guys are on very comparable items at this point in the game. And the gold lead really is starting to mean very, very little. Scaling still is important, though, and you know, you have to give the favor in the 1v1 if it ever happens to someday, regardless of itemization at this point. And also, I think, you know, as far as optimal DPS, Cody Sun should be able to put out more, but Ezreal doesn't always have to kind of choose those types of fights. Your poke can be so valuable, and if you can hit a couple Mystic shots before the fight begins, well, the crit doesn't always matter.
Watch out for these plays then as they keep moving forward. Positioning is going to be the really important thing here, is that it's Clutch Gaming around the river towards Baron and look for the plays, but of course it's just Someday walking up towards the mid lane with no minions to follow with him just yet, but clears away the wave. Cody Sun looking for some damage, good chunk off onto Apollo. Here comes the big play in the front line, looking for Solo. A lot of damage on him, does not have the revive just yet. Dives in, just barely gets it in time. And now looking for the play as Afro forced to run backwards, just staying alive. Solo lost the Guardian Angel, now going for the next little bit as the inhibitor is falling, and a TP flank comes in, but it's a 5 versus 4 as they've already picked up 1 kill so far. Looking for the next with Apollo, has to get away, but it gets shut down instead. The second revive comes through, and it's Afro finding a nice little almost knock up, getting for the damage out, but his kills coming fast and furious on the side of 100 Thieves. This is a 3 versus 3, I do believe. Now with Someday, GA in hand, ready to keep going. Hakpo a bit low, and Solo running out of options. Febiven going for structures right now, hoping to make them defend the base. Because watch out for this one, they're going for structures right now. This is going to be a very tight one, but I feel like Clutch might not have the time. They are trying though, fast and furious. Cody Sun just does way too much damage. He will likely shut him down in time, and Solo is dropped, and it's time to go for the base.
100 Thieves defend. The TP comes in from Someday. He comes back from looking for the end, does find that kill on Apollo, who shifts forward, flashes in at the worst possible time. Right as the Jax arrives, is able to shut him down, and 100 Thieves just barely again able to stay alive.
So it's about the timers, 15 seconds on Ezreal and about 22 on the Zyra bot lane. Can that defend this 2 versus 4 as 100 Thieves slowly revive and walk up the map, going for the turrets first? At least the turret will fall. How greedy can they get, and how much can Clutch even stop with, as now it's Ezreal alive. Zyra in 5 seconds. Inhibitor down, out they go.
Yeah, they're going to be able to defend. There's no super minions, so you could see a true shot barrage and the Zyra clear that out. So going to Baron is the choice here. We'll see if Lyra can get out on the map fast enough, if they can get over there to contest this. Both teams know where the other is going. No real vision, but they did kill the Trinket Ward, so Clutch knows they're on this, and I just think they don't think they can get there in time.
Barrage, the only likely response here. Hakuo wants it, he's stolen one before. Ult comes across! And Cody attacks it in time, still no smite. Down to 150, that was actually quite close.
Yeah, that was really close. I saw Meteo's reaction there on the player cam. He was looking stressed out, not having the smite, and here is the fight one more time. Yes, they burst him down before the passive is stacked, but GA buys you enough time, so that is life number 1. He still has another to be able to come up and essentially gets that 3 lives, and the team in full retreat, but the TP coming in from Jax, likely not spotted by Apollo. Shift, flash forward, wanted to finish off the fight. Cody's on so damn low, but Jax gets the kill on Ezreal, and he is running wild in the back line there. Takes down another, forces out the flashes, and they are on the offensive here.
Everyone was truly so close to killing off Cody Sun and Aftermoon. Both of them
So
were
close.
very low in this fight, but they played it so well to get away from Lulu, get rid of those point and click abilities.
Damage.
And yeah, 10,000 damage. That is a 6-item Hurricane crit 80 carry for you. Crit is not dead. It just maybe takes some time to get on the line. 8-kill lead. The gold 12K apart is going to again lie to you here as we once again sit on this map. 1 inhibitor advantage for 100 Thieves, though. Bot lane's going to auto push for them and force Clutch back constantly to defend those waves.
I gotta say, I love how one person did 10,000 damage and another person did 0. But you know, it averages out, right?
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Meteos is a support. It's okay. It's okay.
Did his job. Once again, onto the mid lane. The spot lane wave, though, getting closer and closer to the Clutch Gaming base. Someone has to defend that. Elder Dragon's up in 5 seconds, but I don't think Clutch have the tools to somehow keep their base alive from a giant stacked wave and also stop Elder.
Well, Solo does have TP, but it's so tough to actually move in and have that TP come in fast enough because the engage that's going to come out from Aphromoo is lightning quick with this
They
revive.
go for the engage because Jax is on it. They try to get the hard CC. Not going to find that one yet, though. And out goes Meteos, and out goes everyone else trying to stay alive. They got the damage up, but almost the first revive. Apollo almost dead, but he only puts the shots in. There's the first kill coming through as Hakuo's dropped, and now Solo as well. 3 for 0. This is going to be it. 100 Thieves have the members, they've got the minions, they've got the base in their sights. And it's time to go for everything now. A quick recall for you to make sure the base
Apollo's
is staying
trying to
alive.
backdoor here, but they are in position to stop it.
Ryu already read this, though. He's ready to defend. He's got the bind almost there, and I don't think Apollo can make this happen. And the base is being pushed. Someday will end the game. 100 Thieves will cement the comeback, and they will take the win.
100 Thieves finally finishing up 51 minutes into the game. Cody's done so strong in those late game team fights, and the team really doing a great job protecting him, keeping him alive. But that, you have to say, was a lot closer than it needed to be. Cody with the no smite on the first Baron.
Yeah.
Made that one tense, and Someday was such a monster for this team. I mean, 12-0-3.
Yeah.
He really was the savior in a lot of these fights. The 4-man Counter-Strike in the base to save the game. The TP flank that comes in and actually kills off Apollo in another critical fight where the game could have ended. And Someday really has to be credited with his best performance of the season.
I absolutely agree. Someday was just huge in that game. Took a slightly bad early landing phase and turned it around to being a split push monster, a team fight monster, and seemed to always be in the right place at the right time. Beautiful stuff there. Of course, Cody's son, no surprise, I'm pretty sure topped the damage charts. I'm gonna double check, I just looked at it a second ago. Yeah, topped the damage charts, no surprise there. Ezreal was close, to be honest, but Apollo put in a pretty good bit of work. Just wasn't quite enough for them. Just, again, incredible stuff for Someday. Huge, she's huge on the Jax.
Yeah, such a tense game. And I have to say, one of my favorite parts of that game really was watching Meteos on the player cam as Cody's going for this fight. Because, you know, you're in that situation. Meteos is always the guy who has the control, right? And sometimes, you know, people talk about if you're on the bench or you're watching as a sub and things like that, how much more stressful it can be.
Yeah.
Like, this is the jungler's nightmare now. He has done this 1,000 times and probably has so much confidence in hitting his own smite, but he has to sit back and watch Cody go for it when he already missed the first one.
You know what's funny as well is watching Meteos play around the Barons, though, because like one time he flashes over and is like, goes for the chomp on Tom Kench, grabs the Sejuani, says, no, you can't steal this one, and goes away. Like, he did a great job at doing everything he could to secure the Barons. It was then up to everyone else in his team.
Exactly.
I thought Meteos did play a very good game overall. I thought he was solid. Yeah, I mean, just it was a 50-minute game of a lot of crazy things going on, right? It's hard to sum up in a few words, but a crazy one and a deserved win for 100 Thieves, 3-2 for them. And now to help us learn more about that back and forth game, let's hand it off to Avali and the Grandmaster at Arms for 100 Thieves.
Thanks, guys. I am here with Joanne and the God Jax that is Someday. Congratulations on that win. There were so many times where it almost looked like you just pulled everyone in, saved the day, and you didn't even die a single time. So what did you think of your performance today?
Before I play game, I pretty nervous and still nervous now because game was very close, but I'm pretty satisfied the last game because I played well.
Now, in those back and forth moments, what was going through the team comms and maybe in your head?
Our comm is big core is Jaya and me, and I played ahead like that, so we just wait for my push and we can act what they play.
And we saw the gold funneling strat come out from you guys, Ryu and Meteos heading bot. How do you and the team prepare for these new team compositions?
That comm is pretty hard to top laner because we just show every time mid jungler and enemy jungler is come to top. So my goal is rampage is just endure. But if game is win, I don't care. So it's pretty fun.
And now all of the funneling went into Cody's son in the mid lane. Tell me about the team trust that you guys have in him to carry the whole game.
We have three support and 2 carry comms, so we just play around the Jaya and me. So, but when we fight team fight, I just hear Cody say, "I need help, I need help." It's funny.
Well, it's funny. You helped him and you guys came out with the win. Congratulations again, and thank you both. And for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. We had talked about what was required of the side lanes when running a gold funneling comp. A deathless Jax is definitely one of the things that helps you in the side lane when you're running that gold funneling composition. But 100 Thieves largely in control of this game for a very large portion of it.
Yeah, and then the Baron happened. And then they were on the back foot for like the other half of the game with how long it went. But this is where the craziness actually happened because they'd actually set up the Baron very well. They CC'd the enemy jungler so he couldn't come in for a smite. And a Zyra ultimate steals it because Cody's son doesn't smite. And then they can't set up their split push. They take a bad fight and you pretty much think the game is just over. You feel like 100 Thieves just lost the game off of one Baron play.
Right, and this is where you kind of start seeing, like, okay, this game's probably over. They cleaned up most of the carries. The Jax is alive, but what can he do versus 4 members?
Play.
That is just so beautiful because he takes the Q on and then knows he's going to shift back and flash follows instantly and just gets the monstrous 4-man stun, gets all the kills, and that is the only reason this game did not end at 30 minutes or whatever that was, because Someday decided it was not going to end.
Extends for quite some time. Someday doing absolute work in that game. I want to fast forward then to the final fight of it all. Let's roll that one out and see how this one played out one more time.
And this one is kind of why you build so much protection into the Xayah. Cody was just saying, help me, help me, help me. He doesn't even have flash for this fight, but he's got Black Shield, he's got Xayah Shield. Tahm Kench is technically close to him if he were to need it. And by the way, Someday still exists with a billion gold, and he jumps in the back of the fight and kills everyone.
Yeah, as soon as the initial engage did not work on the Cody's son, that just kind of opens your flank up for that Jax to start isolating people. Right idea by Apollo here. You're not going to stop the push, so try, but 100 Thieves with all that veteran talent know what the right play to do. Send 4 back. Yeah, Jax will win.
I love it. I love it. No, but it's true. There was a very scary moment there at the outset of that final fight where Cody's son inches away from going down, but we did see that protection come in from the the rest of the team members, keep him alive just long enough as Someday dives into the back line, and ultimately the win falls in favor of 100 Thieves. You know, as we look at this game, we saw very similar to the TL and Fox game, a gold funnel versus a non-gold funnel strategy. But there was one very important distinction or difference for the gold funneling team between last game and this game. We wanted to point it out and talk a little bit about it now.
Yeah, this is kind of what we were talking about at the end of the last segment, which is you want to keep your existing synergies between your players together. So you see Afromu playing Rakan and Cody playing the jungler in the mid lane. Those
It's
guys,
just a dual lane.
It's just a dual lane, even though you have to run out sometimes and get farmed. Similarly, in the bot lane, Ryu and Meteos, mid-jungle synergy is something we've talked about for years. And even though it's a little different here and you're actually just in the lane together, these guys have at least played and have had to communicate numerous times.
Yeah, and there's the added tweak that you also have to be comfortable on the champion, so it's not possible for everyone. And this is where I have to commend, actually, Ryu and Meteos for playing a strong 2v2. They were down about 15 CS before level 6, but then they were actually able to do what few people can even do to that bottom lane. So you see the dual lane in the mid lane. First off, they're able to kill Lyra, but right here, they hit 6 first, and they immediately go aggressive and get a 2v2 kill against a practiced LCS level dual lane.
Yeah, that's the thing is, it's so much more about just what's the strategy? Oh, you farm. Well, we should have our jungler around there. You still have to skirmish 2v2 a lot whenever you're running a funnel strategy, and you want that synergy there, and you saw it benefiting them in both sides in a situation where often funnel is considered weak in the early game, and you're going to sack your side lanes a little bit. And the fact that they were able to win some skirmishes in the mid lane and win some skirmishes in the bot lane helped slow the game down, because you heard Someday in the interview saying, I'm just there to endure and hope I don't get rolled by the enemy jungler coming top, and it's a lot harder to do when you're losing in side lanes.
Right, but understanding his role as is needed in this specific strategy for this specific team to win. My final question to you guys would be similar to the game prior to this. Does this raise any concerns, about this? And once again, 100 Thieves in such control with veteran players, and I know we joke about that, but with veteran players who should know what to do and how to close a game, how does it get out of hand in such a fashion that you let a Zyra ult of all things steal a Baron over a wall and cause the game to extend 20 more minutes?
Clutch Gaming's real good at stealing Barons with mindless abilities, but really, it's a symptom of, I think, having Cody on the Xayah, not used to smiting, and it's also a little bit of bad luck. This is probably one of the best games I've actually seen 100 Thieves play, and I'm still not that impressed by them. I think this team has a lot of work to do, but they went 0-2 first week. Week 2, they had a bunch of comebacks. Here, they could have, with the right Baron secure early, had their most solid victory, but did not.
Yeah, it's a good sign, because Someday was struggling a little bit at the start of Spring Split, and here he's on a tear. Monstrous Aatrox game last week, huge Jax game here. So at least he is starting to synergize with the rest of the team more.
100 Thieves picking up the win. We're taking a quick breather. When we return, it's FlyQuest, who hope to take down Golden Guardians. That matchup coming up after the break.
Getting caught.
Got something? Yeah, in my throat. I'm about to die.
You see Angelo?